It's a new report here that really shows the ability of the elite to keep sexual assault victims silent. It's the report from the Daily Caller. It's based off of a recent report from the New Yorker, actually. It reads a top Democratic lawyer, as well as a Clinton donor. They both helped Harvey Weinstein. He's in the middle of this massive Hollywood sex abuse scandal. They helped him suppress accusations of this sexual abuse using an army of spies, which consisted of ex-Mossad agents. Going to the Daily Caller report, it's a little bit more brief than the New Yorker article. I have both linked in the description of this video, but the Daily Caller report explains that this top Democratic lawyer and a major donor to Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama helped Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein organize this army of spies, which was used to suppress sexual assault accusations, according to this new report. It's originally from the New Yorker. One of these individuals, David Boies, acted as a go-between for Weinstein, who has his own ties to both Clinton and Obama. It's been pointed out previously. Also, the investigative firms that Boies hired to suppress sexual assault accusations, Ronan Farrow reported in this original piece from the New Yorker. It was said in the initial report that Boies personally signed a contract ordering investigative firm Black Cube. It's been described as an enterprise run largely by former officers of Mossad. This is Israel's intelligence agency, to suppress a New York Times report on sexual assault accusations against Weinstein, according to this original report. Boies is often described as a Democratic super lawyer. He's represented former Vice President Al Gore in his legal challenges to the 2000 presidential election results. Then in 2014, lots of coverage when he earned a profile in Vanity Fair by leading the legal charge to overturn California's Proposition 8. He has been described by Fortune magazine as the most famous trial lawyer in the country. Boies is a major Democratic donor. He personally donated $1 million to a super PAC supporting former President Barack Obama's re-election in 2012. He also hosted a swanky fundraiser for Hillary Clinton at his New York home in September 2016, right in the middle of this campaign. They also point out that 6 weeks after Boies hosted the Clinton fundraiser, according to the New Yorker's report, his law firm wired $100,000 to Black Cube for muckraking operations on Weinstein's alleged victims. This investigative firm reportedly billed the firm $600,000 for the work. That's a notable sequence of events. Just 6 weeks after Boies hosted this Clinton fundraiser, his law firm wired $100,000 to Black Cube for this muckraking operation of Weinstein's alleged victims. The firm reportedly billed the firm $600,000 for the work. Finally, they say Black Cube was hired to help Weinstein's effort to completely stop the publication of a new negative article in a leading New York newspaper, and also to, quote, obtain additional content of a book which currently being written and includes harmful negative information on and about Weinstein. It's according to Farrow in this original report. It's linked in the description of this video. Now, this is pretty revealing for a number of reasons, but one other question, one initial question that I would raise, I'm sure we'll get more information as this story develops. However, it is known and it is open at this point. I mean, it's public knowledge that the CIA here in the U.S. has a pretty deep relationship with Hollywood as well. It's been a little bit more open, the relationship between the American military and Hollywood. The CIA, still technically public. It's not exactly hidden, but as to exactly what extent the CIA has this influence over Hollywood. This seems like it could support the idea that many have had that not only do the CIA use money and resources and advice, is what they publicly say, that they provide to Hollywood studios in exchange for some sort of consultation on scripts. Basically, the CIA has some sort of say over how a Hollywood script turns out or what ends up making it into a movie. Publicly, we're told that this is in exchange for movie studios having access to things like military helicopters or the CIA giving script advice. Is that really all that's being exchanged here, or is this tool, if you could call it that, I guess, of blackmail and sexual abuse, which these top producers and directors like Harvey Weinstein get caught up in? They're exposed as being complicit in this. Is this blackmail tool another one of these tools that the CIA use in order to have this influence, which obviously it's very important to for them to have this sort of control for propaganda purposes or whatever their reasoning is, to control Hollywood? Are they using this sexual abuse, this blackmail, the involvement of these Mossad agents to help cover this up before it leaked? To me, it definitely adds to that idea. I mean, this is a known relationship between Hollywood and the CIA. Here's one just brief report on this from 2008, back from 2008, but they point out, they expand on this relationship a little bit, saying that the Defense Department's open but barely publicized relationship with Hollywood. The Pentagon for decades has offered filmmakers advice, manpower, and even hardware, including aircraft carriers and state-of-the-art helicopters. All it asks for in exchange is that the U.S. Armed Forces are made to look good in Hollywood films, that is. They give one example of a previous Scott film, Black Hawk Down, where a character based on a real-life soldier who had been a child rapist lost that part of his backstory when he came to the screen. They also say, though, that no matter how seemingly craven Hollywood's behavior towards the U.S. Armed Forces has seemed, it has at least happened within the public domain. This cannot be said for the CIA's dealings with the movie business. Not until 1996, they remind us, did the CIA announce with little fanfare that it had established an entertainment liaison office which would collaborate in a strictly advisory, they say, capacity with filmmakers. So they advise all top filmmakers. This is open since 1996, that the CIA has its own office dedicated to, again, they say advising filmmakers, basically controlling the messaging that we see in Hollywood. Heading up the office at the time was Chase Brandon, who had served for 25 years in the agency's elite clandestine services division as an undercover operations officer. PR man he isn't, though he does have Hollywood connections. He's a cousin of Tommy Lee Jones. This report's worth reading as well. It's about a decade old, but I have it linked in the description of this video as well. But I think that it does tie into that other question of, was this in fact something that Weinstein just reached out, happened to have this Clinton lawyer give him access to these ex-Mossad spies, or is this sort of a typical operating procedure in Hollywood to have these connections, which we know exist, but to use them to cover up this sort of thing? Leave a comment, let me know what you think. As I said, more information I'm sure will come out on this. I will follow up as new developments come out. Finally, I just remind people I'm over on Patreon, patreon.com/realityreader. Thank you everybody that has donated. It makes a huge difference, even $1 or $2. Patreon.com/realityreader, also linked in the description of this video. Leave a comment. If you could leave a like, it's greatly appreciated. I'll follow up shortly. Thanks everyone.